Chilling at the head of the table where the bosses sit, stunning everything in sight. Whether
Chat,
it's in the
what it do,
bloodline or
chat?
corporate.
You know what
Want me
time it
out here,
is.
laid a big smile, no handcuff by
Oh,
officers.
yeah.
Hold on, wait.
Hold on, wait.
They lost the script, we got some shooters. It's off the hip.
It's off the head, baby. Unwelcome your thoughts. We're back bringing you another episode. WWE Smackdown recap for the date of
Smackdown
February 28th.
before the Elimination Chamber.
Yes, sir. Ooh, wait. I want to give a special shout out right here. If you see this on the screen, at Wrestleish_war for this picture right here. Appreciate you, man. Contributing to the channel. And with no further ado, chat, you know, we start off where they ended. We pick up where they left off. With that being said, you see what's on the screen right here. Final words before Elimination Chamber. Brother. I mean, I text you right before this segment even happened, and I was like, bro, I'm kind of getting tired of how they just milked this whole Cody's gonna. I'll be honest, he still kind of hasn't said shit regarding it. But it's interesting how they was able to play it, and every time somebody's dog like running him down about it, like you said last week, we got a rundown. This
But
week we
this
got
was
forms of
very
rundown.
different.
Yeah, this is different.
And I think I speak for an abundance of the IWC when I say this was probably one of, if not the best go home WWE's had in quite some time from start to finish.
I mean, I would have to go back and review that. For me, I felt a little bit differently. I kind of was on the side of, okay, this is what I expected from a go home show. In terms of shit that was like stories that were going on throughout the night, I felt a little bit lost.
Really?
Yeah, like I from the beginning to
Okay,
the end.
so
Mhm.
as far as the bulk of the stuff, which we'll probably spend, or at least I will spend a boatload just running it into the ground, but this tournament for the number one contender for Shinsuke Nakamura's United States Championship was an abs. Now, again, we got some great matches out of it, but the everything as a whole, in hindsight, a complete waste of time.
Midday announcement. Nick
And
Aldis announced on Twitter.
and the reason why I say it's a waste of time is because given we saw how it ended, there was no point in this tournament.
I've been screaming this for weeks. I'm tired of the same carousel on both brands with the mid card title
Now,
championship.
this particular ensemble was very different. We'll get to that in a shortly, but overall, you could have done a few different things different, but this would have been fine had you never would have announced LA Knight as the number one contender. But then again, was he formally announced, or did we just have an impromptu Mandela effect?
So what I took it as, this is what I digested. Shinsuke was looking for a worthy opponent.
A worthy warrior.
And here comes LA Knight once again, which
Yes.
prompts The Miz. He ran down
Yes.
his resume. So they have a match, which everyone assumed was for number one contenders match. Even
Correct.
Shinsuke sat there and watched the match.
And he looked rather unimpressed. He's
So
beaten Miz in the past. He's beaten LA Knight. He's like, I've already rammed you guys, and I smoked both of you. Matter of fact, LA Knight, I smoked you in record time. Was that even 2 minutes? That match that they had,
And I'm
maybe
sorry,
5 minutes.
what can LA Knight do? Let's say he captures this championship. What can he do better than the first time? And this is no shade to him. I like LA Knight, but I just feel like he put a bunch of his logos on the strap. It
Towards the
just
end of his run, let's not forget
yeah,
that
like
was not from the start. Is very towards the very end.
it didn't. I didn't understand what they were trying to do with that championship with him. Like if they was going for a redesign, they should have just let him redesign and take us into a new era with that.
And this,
Instead,
and if the plan were to have his initials on the strap, don't have it black. Make the bitch red or something.
it was just
Or
black and white. Like the logos
yeah,
were white. Yeah, like it was just like, and then I felt like honestly, like you have to squint from afar. Like what? I remember initially, I was like, did they put his logos on the strap? And we had to see a backstage segment where
because I believe you texted me first, and then I didn't peep it at first, and I saw replay, and I'm like,
yeah, I'm
that
squinting. I'm
is the
like,
butt ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life, and we've seen some ugly ass belts in the past.
it felt very character creation suite in the wrestling game. Felt like
You
somebody
know,
just mocked up a title in the game. Say that
like
again.
literally,
Yeah. So I'm like this.
you
I
guys,
had hopes.
you guys see the vest. It's a 100 proof kind of night.
Oh we. I had high hopes for this tournament style. I had high hopes for who
I had
Chelsea
hopes for
Green
someone
was gonna
that
face.
was okay. And again, we'll get to that later on. I wasn't like I wasn't mad at Chelsea. It's just maybe Tiffany's not ready because if you look at before the match started, actually let's start from the beginning. Okay, we were blessed with the presence of the legendary Trish Stratus, hometown hero, rightfully so. She referenced that tomorrow, for the first time, her kids are going to see her compete and a whole lot of feel good moments.
I
You love to
love
see it. It's
Trish.
Trish.
I love
Yeah.
Trish, but I'm a shit all over this promo. I was
Well,
not
again,
fucking with it to open the show.
I'll get to that, but let me
Yeah.
at least get some of the positives out of the way.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Because
I'm sorry to cut
there
your.
weren't many of them.
Yeah, I'm sorry to cut your wisdom. I just had to
You all
like.
good. Again, there
Uh,
weren't many of them, so I'm gonna just get them out of the way.
mm.
Tiffany coming out. I'm gonna be honest. Actually, fuck the positives. I'm gonna just go right through the timeline. Tiffany came off corny as fuck. Very corny. This screamed 1994 Vince Babyface type of corny.
And this is why
Cartoony.
Charlotte is the queen.
In the words of Pat McAfee, it's Mickey Mouse bullshit. Now on to the positives. And you may have knocked the match, but I will say this: I still have hope for the greatest female United States champion of all time, Chelsea Green. I still have high hopes for her because again, she cooked the fuck out of Tiffany Stratton today.
Oh yeah. I just felt like, given who I seen in the ring, maybe it would have been cool to see Trish out there surprisingly on an episode of Friday Night SmackDown.
Could you imagine if we would have got Trish Stratus versus Chelsea Green on SmackDown in Toronto? Oh my god,
Hell, they could have even made it an impromptu, made it a tag team match because that's not who they're facing tomorrow.
that too. But then we saw that Piper Niven decided to out John Moxley for the best Mountie in Canada.
Which I'm not gonna lie, once they break her apart for Chelsea, not saying I want it soon, but even with her, like I
That's
got
gonna
high
be fun to
hopes.
watch. That's
Yeah.
gonna be fun to watch because again, we know Piper's nice.
And she's been showing her range this time around. I feel like the dewdrop stuff, she did her best, but that was fuckery. I'm not gonna lie. They put a bullshit name on her. And when I say they, we know who's they. It was one person. Like we know who was behind that debauchery right there.
Yeah,
And like right
we
now
can
she's
name
getting to
all them jabronis, but again, that's
hmm
neither here nor there. They've since been gone, excommunicated, if you will, from the company. But again, like I said, we had Chelsea Green and I want to butcher the moniker that has been bestowed upon her. So, with all due respect, I'm going to address her as Piper Niven, the Enforcer. That's truthfully what she is. First, she comes out massive pop. First off, because again, hometown hero, much like Trish Stratus, starts talking about some of the stuff from Canada, then immediately just becomes pro America. And did you hear how loud those boos were?
Oh yeah, she's a genius for that.
Like she maximized the positives and she maximized the negatives, and it was beautifully done. Also, let's not forget. I mean that that gear she had with the American flag on one side, the Canadian flag, and the maple leaf on the other. Bakazi, if that was your work, my brother, you've done it again.
Me. Nah, that was definitely me.
But again, much like what happened with Charlotte not long ago, Tiffany got blatantly and obviously destroyed on the microphone because again she talked about how and Chelsea, excuse me, Chelsea met China America. She's treated as a bigger star, like an idol, so to speak. And then you have Tiffany say, "I'm from America. We don't look at you like that," and that got absolute crickets. You could have heard a newborn baby shit themselves from the nosebleed. That's how quiet it
Mm,
got.
yep.
And I'm just like, maybe the folks that didn't want Tiffany cash in before, maybe they was right. And again, you and I had hopes for her in this title run, but again, it seems that maybe she's not quite there just yet.
I personally think it's that, but also flanked by bad creative. When I look at it, she was always okay. The shit with Nia Jax, I could get by because it culminated into her winning, so her plan worked there.
But let's be honest, Nia's mic work is nowhere near Chelsea Green's,
No,
nowhere near Charlotte's.
nah,
So
I
in
love Nia
that
Jax, but she's
aspect of the
one of the
game,
worst with the mic.
that
Yeah,
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far, but I will say that because again, going with Charlotte and Chelsea back to back, Tiffany's obviously outclassed on the mic. And as the champion, it's like you got to think of something other than it's Tiffy time. At least one or two other lines, something.
I think they just stripped her of what I feel she was, which is a heel, made her a baby face, which shouldn't be the problem, but that's not what she was doing. So
And I'm
it's
sure, and again, I'm sure Trish can help her get to that level, but it's one of those that's like the growing pains have become more prevalent than we had anticipated.
and you know what's funny about it to me that it's almost similar to how Damian Priest won, where he was with the Judgment Day heel faction, but he was on the brink of his babyface turn. Like he was already shitting on Dom, like, yo, what you doing? Like Rhea coming back, like and things like that. And then eventually, while he had the championship, he was a babyface.
Depending on how they go with this, you could almost compare this to Randy's first run at the title to when he got the belt at SummerSlam when he wasn't ready.
Green.
Very green, as the OGs say, wet behind the ears. You're treading near that realm, which again, it's not the horrible thing because again, we know the potential that's there. It's just sometimes you got to put feet to the fire just to see where the benchmark is. It happens. Now, on Tiffany's side, as I've ever back to the positives, take this as a learning lesson. Seek the guidance of Trish Stratus and grow and elevate from there. There's only upside from here because you're identifying where you may need to put a couple extra hours in the lab. Again, this is not a bad thing. Again, sometimes we need these as humans. We need to know where we stand, especially from a competitive standpoint, and that's how we elevate.
Hmm. But for this feud particularly, it's to me that stands out. They're not doing anything to make me feel. I think they did it with the Nia Jax match, but nothing to make me feel like Tiffany should be in the ring, standing a chance with
And and
Charlotte.
and that's my point that I was going to get to right now. Like, what does
Yeah.
all of this have to do with prepping her for Charlotte? It's different if you have her take on someone maybe of a Bianca or a Naomi, maybe a Bailey, maybe an Alexa Bliss to a degree, or maybe a Roxanne Press because of her elevation. Because you could use that similar to an Ilya and Braun thing because you have two upstarts, see where they stand. But again, this is hate to say it, this is a spot where Becky Lynch is missed because Becky could probably get that shit out of her that she needs. Everybody else there may not be as well equipped unless you suddenly. I mean, the other option is you have her go up against Rhea, but again, Rhea would kill her to the point of no return. So again, it's one of those things where this is a specific moment in which Becky Lynch's expertise and her abilities are well missed because again, Becky can be great with the title, be just as great without a title because she's earned that accolade already, and she's that utility person that where you can match her against anyone in that locker room for the women, and she is the ultimate litmus test.
And I feel like it's getting to the point where I give Nia and Tiffany their credit for keeping this story going as long as they have.
Does it
And
need to continue is the question though.
at this point, no.
It
That's what I
should
was
never.
doing.
We shouldn't even be going through them with this anymore. I would almost have preferred if Charlotte would have interfered in this match or whatever, just almost to assert dominance. But I get it. They have the tag match tomorrow, so I mean, but still, it's like there's other things that they could have incorporated that would have
I
at
think the
least done
weird
more to
limbo,
give Tiffany a chance.
I think the weird limbo that we'll see after the chamber is where exactly is Naomi and Bianca gonna be? Because I feel like for the last year, because they had the championships, Bianca and Jay were able to be on both brands, and then Naomi told us later, and so that kind of took them out that heavyweight. Like those, like going to your point, those would be good competitors for Tiffany.
Well, allow me to retort. If we go on the marks of who's able to get their stuff in and elevate their opponent, Naomi maybe on that level, but again, like compared to what say a program of Becky would have done with her, especially in prepping for Charlotte of all people, not right now, especially with those three. Because if anything, there's a possibility to where it would be more detrimental to Tiffany, or if Tiffany goes out strong, it's more detrimental to them. Whereas if you swap Becky in there,
That's why I
Becky's in a
think
win-win.
it was odd, bro. To me, it was odd. Like in hindsight, it's kind of odd how everything unfolded. Okay, you pair her up with Nia Jax, so instantly already, and I'm talking about this is when Nia Jax won Queen of the Ring. So instantly, she's positioning herself, leeching on to Nia Jax's success to position herself for success. She
You
wins the
know,
Money in the Bank in July. And then cashes in when she cashed in it uh
about a month or
the
so ago, maybe.
yeah, the week after the Netflix debut or
Yeah,
that first
that Friday. Oh no, the Friday before, so the third,
it was the first Friday that went 3 hours, I believe.
the third,
Right?
yeah, January 3rd.
Yup. So she cashed in
So
January 3rd.
yeah, so she's finishing 2 months as champion. So
And then
you know what would have
you
made this
have
better
Shaw,
for
yeah.
Tiffany, and I'm surprised they didn't start with this route immediately. Why not keep for the time for this time these last 60 days as champion? Okay, why not keep her as a heel and put her in a program with Bailey? Keep that going. That way you allow
Cause
Tiffany to
isn't
gain more
Bailey
confidence.
on Raw now? But I get what you go. I
But
get
no, no,
where you going.
but this is before Bailey was in that transfer portal. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, okay, okay.
You could have had Bailey go at her saying, "Hey, we ran it before. It was back and forth. I want that back again." You keep Tiffany's a heel, still keep her somewhat strong. And again, I'm looking at folks that you can match up with Charlotte. And again, in hindsight, there's not that many list names that you can have up there that would be too detrimental to all parties involved. You could throw Bailey in there and even Becky. There's there's no one else you could put there that would elevate her, and then the folks on the other side could still be just as strong.
From a story standpoint, I get what WWE tried to do tonight.
I'm
They
not.
no, I mean like they trying to sell tomorrow's match between them, but it doesn't make me want to see it anymore. No, I could have went without any of this shit. And Tiffany doesn't even pick up a clean victory. She wins by disqualification, which I mean they kept
So
both champions protected to some degree there.
did it though?
No,
because again,
Because arguments could be made both ways.
Chelsea was again aside from a couple spots here and there, Chelsea was basically carrying everything, trying to get her there. It's just again, Chelsea in her situation wouldn't be as beneficial as folks would assume. That again, then that's no fault of Chelsea. Again, like you say, it's the booking, and like I said in shows past, presentation generates perception. So again, this you kind of set both of them up to fail to try to just make something out of nothing. Chelsea tried her damnedest from the mic work to even in the match. Tiffany came off a little a couple times, and then we go to that DQ finish, and it's like, all
And I hate
right,
to say it, because Chelsea's doing her best with that championship, but these things are starting to feel like participation trophies a bit. Like
she's definitely making the most of it. But again, like
they could have
it,
perfectly had the same match if that title didn't exist. I say that to say, so what's the point of having this championship if
instead of having the tag team match again, like I said, you could easily have done something on the lines of Bailey versus Chelsea and Trish versus Chelsea. That would have been just fine.
yeah.
But again, you want to somehow keep Tiffany glued at the hip to this Nia and Candice stuff, which again, the fact that Nia and Candice is still a thing fucking blows my mind.
And then I'm not gonna lie, like Trish Stratus's comeback to me feels a little bit odd. Like reason I say it because before the last time she came through, she was getting all this endearment from the crowd, whatever, whatever. But this one feels kind of like,
It seems
a,
like she's back to being a traditional part timer now.
yeah.
And again, I'm not mad at that, but it's one of those because of somewhat the resume that she has. If Tiffany's not at that level yet, again, there's no reason why you can't have Trish elevate somebody else like a Chelsea Green.
It just felt very odd because wouldn't you want Tiffany versus Trish Stratus not on the same team if we're gonna have them in the ring?
Exactly, yeah.
That's why
Like I
I'm
said,
like,
this would have time to keep her as a heel, whatever. And
crazy
then
thought.
after this,
What if Trish turns on Tiffy, but not don't align with Nia Jax? She just cementing like a new Trish Stratus that we can see going forward. Maybe she aligns herself with Charlotte in some weird way. Like I feel like there's something off with Trish. I can't pinpoint it, but maybe I'm.
I can picture the latter at least because again, Trish was back in the day phenomenal heel. Some of her best switcheroos were at WrestleMania. Let's
When
not
she
forget that match that Krishna and Chris Jericho had at WrestleMania 20, if I'm not mistaken.
her Royal Rumble gear was a heel gear, a homage to her heel gear.
I'm just saying. But again, I see what I understand what they're trying, how they're trying to utilize her. But again, everyone knows where she's best suited. And again, I still revert back to maybe there's a small chance in which Tiffany may not be at the level that we thought she was at this time. Not saying she's not going to get there. It's just not at this moment in time.
Is this safe to say? Because I've been having this every time we see somebody win a championship and then it go a few months, we start to question things. Is the chase better than the actual defenses? Like, I feel like the
Well,
chase in wrestling has become a much more prevalent thing. Like, people pay attention to that more than the actual way that things are defended.
normally I would say yes, but this particular situation feels a tad bit different, and I'll explain why. Because Tiffany's still been very active in the ring, whereas other folks in their inaugural championship have not been.
I give you
And
that. Yep.
in this in past cases, like again, look at Priest for example, how he elevated, he got better on the mic when he was out of the ring. In this case, Tiffany's still like this, just very stagnant, not dipping too much, just still very stagnant. And she got blown out of the water by Charlotte, and today she got just sniped by Chelsea, the quote unquote secondary champion. The secondary champion just smoked the top champion, the top girl on the mic. At least be on equal footing. There's no reason why your comeback line to Chelsea should have gotten crickets.
And it's like we expect Charlotte to run around her, but again,
Yeah, Charlotte. Yeah, we expect that because Charlotte's like in that red category. It's one of those you're in that one of one category. That's like again, that's damn like Jordan Kobe talks, whatever. This hmm, how do I
yeah.
put this without being too disrespectful? Because again, I still believe Tiffany has an immense amount of upside. But yeah, this was one of those. This um on paper and in person should not have happened because you threw her out to the you dumped instead of putting her feet by the fire, you tossed in the fire and you just watched her burn.
Again, I think the idea in some of this is to. You see, I can't even say that. I'm just speaking for the Nia Jax, not what we seen tonight. With the Nia Jax, I think they want to try to make her look like an underdog, so when they get the win, it's like this hard fought story. But tonight, shit, again, I wasn't a
Why
fan
should the
of
champion be the underdog?
because Charlotte's a goat and
And
Tiffany's
Trish is
not a
not.
goat. This is why they shouldn't
Look
have had a
how they used
match.
Trish the last 3 weeks.
That's what I'm saying. They should be in a match with each other, not on the same team. I didn't understand that.
Yeah, yeah, I got no whiskey for the night, folks. It's gonna be one of them shows.
Like that's how you prepare Tiffany Stratton for the GOAT match by having her go against another GOAT.
The original queen.
Like that's some insane stuff. But moving on from that, because we're gonna get that match tomorrow. Matter of fact, if you want to get let's give each thing that's related to a match that's going on tomorrow. Let's give a prediction to it. Who you feel is winning that tag team match tomorrow? I think Tiffany and Trish got it. I'll be surprised, but I also do feel that heel turn is possible. So I'm split. I can't give a definitive. I'm kind of split.
Well, we already can anticipate that Candice is taking the pinfall. I would be surprised if Nia takes the pinfall. If Nia takes that, by the way, folks, I will be live on TikTok tomorrow reacting. So again, in the event Nia takes the pinfall, HD will have a few very good snippets of me and my facial reaction.
Man,
But yeah, I mean that's definitely one of the more probably the most obvious matchup on the card. And
yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm not a fan of how whether it be a SaaS main event or PLE or even a match with a Raw with a loaded card. There's always one match that's even obvious to a blind person.
Mhm. I mean, I feel like to be honest, like I'm not looking for like it's an elimination chamber, bro, and this is a match that's on the card. Like, come on.
Like
Eh,
I said, it would have been better if you would have had Tiffany and Trish.
That's
But I
it.
mean,
That's it.
but again, you're trying to make her a female, like the top female babyface. But then again, but here's the thing: she's not going to get a bigger pop than Rhea. She's damn sure not going to get a pop should Becky decide to come back. She's not going to get a bigger pop when Jade comes back. Hell,
Man,
if Bianca or Naomi is babyface, she won't even top them. So again, why bother?
it's insane. Pardon the train in my neighborhood. This train's where I live. Yes.
The train is shipping off all the bullshit we're spewing. We got a
Yeah.
lot to cover, and yeah, that was the first load that just went out.
Yeah. But moving on. We got the Nick Aldis laying it out for us. The 6-man, 2-round United States #1 contenders
And,
tournament
and,
for the
and we
night.
learned it was a 1 day tournament.
1 day tournament.
WWE don't do that very often.
I'm gonna
So
be honest though, it kind of misled me. I thought they was gonna do the championship match too at the end.
Oh no, no. So once they explained that, they said they were gonna do the initial matches and then the triple threat tonight. So I'm like, okay, that's very different. And again, we were told we're gonna get Braun versus Mello. We were told we're getting LA Knight versus Santos. Excuse me. We were also told we were getting Andrade versus Solo, or so we thought.
And then what we see after that, Razor. Come on.
Well, before we get into that, I see your energy levels are a little down, and again, for good reason, because this show was definitely a roller coaster. You and I are advocates and very reliable users of caffeine. Well, we have a Latin American influenced energy drink called Mas. Now, this is their
Oh
tamarind
yeah.
flavor. I just bought a case today. It's got caffeine and electrolytes, and their slogan is more energy, more flavor.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna need a case, brother. I'm gonna need a link.
They have tamarind, they have mango, and I forget what their third flavor is. And after that, I do apologize, but I was more excited for the tamarind flavor because I love the Jarritos Tamarindo soda.
Oh yeah. That's perfect right there. You hear that chat, Moss? If you need that energy raise like I do right now,
Actually, let's see how
that's the
this tastes. I
one.
haven't tasted it yet.
Oh, you hear that crack right there? Love it.
Okay, as expected, if you love the soda by Jarritos, you're gonna love this. Tastes just like it.
And which flavor is that again right there?
Tamarindo, tamarind.
Oh yeah, there you go. I see the brown on there. I'm like, oh yeah, I know which one that is. Oh wee.
But again, as we learned, then we then saw Solo meet up with Jacob and Tama. And of course, as we've seen, there's been a couple mishaps as of late. So Jacob wants to see where Solo's head's at and say, hey, my bad. That was an accident. Solo replies, I'm sure it was. Because he started thinking, yeah, I got your boy Tama. This was my get back. I get that I had it coming. Blah. But he tells Jacob, you know, you say you. I'm paraphrasing, folks. I apologize again. It was a long 3 hour show, but but to paraphrase, Jacob and Tom have earned a smackdown. Therefore, he say Jacob should still call the plays. You go take the match. You bring the United States Championship to the family. You bring gold to the family, to the bloodline. You call the shots. Go handle it.
It's something about time off. Solo Sokoa to me is commanding presence. Like I don't know what it is, but just like when we didn't see, we knew Jacob was signed. He first appeared on the camp. He looked in amazing shape. Not saying he not in shape now. I'm just saying he looked like the fatigue catching up a bit. They got him in 2 matches tonight. He's still busting out his moves, but Solo look a little refreshed. This time off, I don't know if it's
And,
just me. He look a
and,
little
and we
refreshed.
said Solo was also on that crew of the guys to where again this is probably the most active that they've had him in a while. So man, the body gets tired. Sometimes a couple weeks off will rejuvenate the body, recharge the batteries. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Bro, Solo almost ran like 3 years straight if you're talking about his time
Yeah.
from NXT.
And then think about it, Roman went almost 5 straight
Yeah,
after
like
beating leukemia.
crazy. Like,
And we said, hey, them boys, they're getting a little tired again. They take a few weeks off, it's no big deal. They earned it.
cause Solo
But
was basically doing what Jacob doing right now. When Roman wasn't around, Solo was in matches with John Cena, with other people. You know what I'm saying? The LA Knights.
mhm.
So
And even
now
before then, he went almost a year straight NXT.
that's what I'm saying. That run, yeah.
But also, I mean, you're probably just glad that he's not in the Santero fit no more.
Nah, I just found it funny though. I'm not gonna lie, cause we pay attention to
We
little
got him,
details.
folks. We got him.
Bro, yeah, he got me cracked. He got me cracked right now. Cause bro, look, say we don't look in the details. I thought was he getting on his God mode? Like, is this like I'm starting to pay attention to the way. Then he's like,
He
all right,
has
hold on.
ascended to the heavens and has come back down.
He knew what we was paying attention to.
Or think about it, like we talked about. You got Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, in God mode. The Rock being the High Chief Seoli as the top elder. You essentially got a god and a demigod. The god gave brought Solo back from limbo as what now whether he has a halo or horns is remains to be seen.
And I know we always give Jacob his flowers, but I just want to once again give him his flowers because it's amazing how you see this ain't the first time he wears shiesty, but it's amazing how he could blend real life and still be within the character. We've seen other people try to blend too much of their real life into a character, and it don't hit the same. You know what I mean? Like,
Because again, he's all gas, no brakes. He's a
yeah.
menace to society.
And that's no disrespect to Swerve. I know Swerve did the shiesty thing, a few months or probably a year ago. But again, it's something
Some folks, it's
about,
just different.
yeah. And being
Again,
able
and
to do it
again,
in WWE is different too.
and that's probably why it's catching on more because it's something that in previous regimes was worse than taboo. But I'd be remiss if we didn't address something that we have waited weeks to hear. We saw Solo Sokoa, the former right hand man, the former street champions, utter the words, I love you, Jacob.
Mm.
I'm sure that after what we saw flew over a few people's heads, but again, take notes. The seed has been planted.
Then we get Andrade's. Yeah, the C's definitely been planning. We get Andrade's entrance. They send us a commercial break. We come back, and everybody in the chat.
Whoa,
Before we,
time, 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 time,
I
time.
wanted.
Wait. We're missing one other key proponent in this backstage segment.
What's that?
While Solo is and Jacob are going back and forth trying to just feel each other aroused subliminally and psychologically, did you peep the look on Thomas' face when Solo patted him on the chest?
Oh yeah, that's been like the last 2 or 3 weeks now. I've been peeping that.
And
But
this time a little different because he looked down very quick and looked at him like sideways, like, "You really just touched me, did you?"
but I seen he still. We'll get into it later. He still ran with Solo. Still was by his side, fulfilling the play, so to speak.
But maybe he was looking out for Jacob. But again, we'll
Oh yeah,
we'll
we know
we'll,
that's.
we'll learn
I
in the
think
weeks to
that's.
come.
I think we know that's for
But
certain what it is. But to see
but
that
this is
you can
some
still be on the
this is
same
something we got to keep an
page.
eye on. Maybe both of them. But I was
Yeah,
like,
it's a lot to be spoken about because losses have consequences, and we're gonna get into that,
and just when we thought the bloodline was out of stories, we get this whole little spin-off that's ultimately going to tie it back to the main series.
man.
but
Chat. I want them to have fun with us, Razor. Because if you seen when we came back from commercial, can we get a buy you boogie? Can we get a buy you boogie?
oh my God,
Can we get
we
a
we, we
chat?
get a little flashback, a highlight scene, if you will, from LFG.
Man,
Legends, futures,
man.
greats, and it's something that I've been seeing on all my social medias. I can't look away from it. And it's a scene featuring Buster Open's very own Uncle Bully, no relation, and he gets wind that this gentleman has a certain je ne sais quoi about him. So the girls are talking about that he does this dance called the Bayou Boogie. So he's telling them, basically, let's see it. Oh boy, a little gun shy about it, and then ultimately he does it. But what I want to iterate is for those that are aspiring, not every form of criticism is meant to tear you down. In this instance, Bully wants him to get out of his shell and say, "Hey, it's okay. Be you. That's what makes you special. Let it
Hell
loose."
yeah.
Because again, if you can't be comfortable in your own skin, then how can you be comfortable portraying a character by the WWE?
I'm starting to really enjoy that show, to be honest.
Oh, as am I. It's very different from Tough Enough. Very different.
That's what I enjoy about it.
Now, again, Tough Enough had its moments, but again, this, again, like I said, from begin to end again. It's a whole new way of looking at stuff, and if this is gonna be a routine thing, who knows, Chet? You may see one of us on there soon.
Because even though they're peeling back the curtains, they
Oh,
still
nothing
keep
for that.
certain things. Yeah.
I
He
set
said
you up
nothing.
for it. You just said, "Nah, let him drown."
He said nah. It's because I was thinking about that point how LFG, it's still they peeling back the curtains, but they're not giving away too much. Like they not letting you know exactly who gonna go in there and win the match. But you hear certain things that in 2025 it's new for WWE to be doing it. So
And for those
yeah,
that watch, for those that watched like the later Tough Notes when you had like Booker, even Bill DeMont, making all them do the training regimens and all that, everything that we're seeing in the show for the most part is stuff that we should already expect, especially with the new invigorated culture of the performance center. Because everything ultimately is meant to uplift you to ultimately make you comfortable with yourself. Because and that's probably they're not a dusty because if you're not comfortable with yourself, what can you really do truthfully to where us, them, we, the people, the universe will take them seriously?
right, man. I can't wait to see that episode. I think it comes on Sunday, so that's the day after
Sundays.
the chamber. Yup.
But again,
Then,
as we
mhm,
roll back again, we think, like
yep.
I said, we get
We
Andrade versus
whoa,
Jacob, and
hold on.
we missed
From my
something else.
notes, yeah, we got Cody backstage with his nice
That's right.
fancy
That's right.
wine,
How could
food.
no, no, before that again, Cody's walking out. I forget who he gets slagged down by, and they tell him
Yeah,
your locker room's this way. Cody's like, "What you mean my locker room's this way? Come with me. It's over here."
yeah, it was like a running joke this evening. Just a bunch of gifts from the final boss. And as he as
Yeah,
he
yeah.
enters the
Background.
room, man, all truth.
Oh, are we getting to that right now?
Yeah, all truth. How you
Put
felt
this
about
man in
that?
the Hall of Fame.
Not gonna lie, he kept it so real with Cody. And I noticed how this is the first time Truth was in his damn senses. He said, "Extra Brock, if
The,
we
the
could get
the
some
first
jelly
time,
rolls."
the first time, man,
Man,
that man's always keeping it a buck in his senses.
he be trolling.
Nah,
This
he be keeping it real. Just folks just think he's joking. It's like, nah, he just spitting.
so
Let
that
him
must
cook.
have really been Tommaso Ciampa giving him the championships on Raw that night. Man,
Little Jimmy knows all.
like he's
But again,
telling him,
we see the walls full of like fancy wines. We see the sushi and all the fancy platters. As we learned, he got in the main event, quote unquote, he got a very special gift from The Rock. But again, as we go back to that segment with our truth, again, truth was essentially encouraging him to say, "Hey, take the deal, make your life easier. Ain't nothing wrong with it. You earned it.
we even
You're
got
the champ."
A
It's like
Tony
it's almost,
Atlas name drop.
bro.
Man,
And that's why I love Truth again. He'll drop all the little Easter eggs or whatever. But ultimately, again, I kind of side with Truth. It's like, hey, this is where you was trying to get. This is where everyone ultimately aspires to be. The man that now signed a check and said, "Hey, we get it. You busted your ass to get to what you have now. Allow me to make your life a little bit easier because again, this is what a champion should essentially be entitled to, especially the champion." I'm just saying. If I was Cody, I would have shook Rock's hand when he first said "Sell your soul." All right, deal.
we've never seen a situation where that turns out good. Momentarily it does, but the long lasting effects.
But again, if we're referencing the corporation, if we're referencing even the authority, versus this, it's still three very different situations
The only
where it's
thing,
one of those in the corporations era when Austin or Rock joined, it was never implied that that was supposed that was requested to happen. If you look at the authority, no one saw that coming. And as this, it's like it's almost like you're blending both of them together, and it's like you have the boss stating, "Embrace me as your brother, embrace me as your family, like I have accepted you into mine. We've broken bread together. Now our private relationship, let's now put this to light. Again, we already hang out already over here. Let's make it official here. Me and you, we're gonna run this. Essentially, it is our respective birthrights."
man.
But again, we'll get to that later in the evening.
Whew. Yeah, cause that's why I'm holding back a little because we just gonna go right back there. We get Andrade versus Jacob.
Bah!
Two,
Two.
man. He did that fire promo, you know what I'm saying? Later on, but man, him and Andrade,
That was an incredible. That was a
I
yeah.
expected
You
this,
knew that match was going to be amazing.
man. Again, I'm not surprised that Andrade got so much offense off, but I did enjoy the fact he got his moonsault off on
Well, I
Jacob.
mean, again, I'm not so much. I'm surprised by the offense, but I'm not surprised attended because again, Andrade, he's not afraid to match the physicality. Because again, Andrade, he's leaned out but still put on some size. But also, again, even in his days in Mexico, if you want to get at it, if you want to get dirty, we can do it. It's good.
I felt like this was one of those matches that was kind of, to me, a little unpredictable. I'm gonna be honest, because I expected some chicanery to some degree. I expected to see like Solo out there, maybe cost him the match by accident.
A few times we almost got a flash knockout too.
Man, like
And again, Jacob's at a spot to where even if say if Andrade would have beat him, it would have done nothing negative for Jacob. It's just hey, sometimes you get got with one.
we're gonna get to the negative stuff for Jacob later, because that's an interesting point you make right there.
Hmm.
I do love the combo that Jacob is doing with his finisher, which is like he'll do the impaler and then
And then the BME.
yup, man, I like that right there. Definitely dope. Like,
But speaking of
de-
that BME, let's talk about that. For
man,
those that may not have seen SmackDown, I'm gonna give a little spoiler. And I believe it was in this match when I sent you that text, correct? Where he hit that moonsault halfway across the ring.
was it that one or the last one? It might
I
have been the
think I
last
think it
one.
was this one because
Okay,
yeah, I want to say it was this one, but he I'm sure he participated in the other match too. But again, halfway across the ring, folks. A man of his size should not be able to fly the way he flies. He is defying the laws of physics,
dog, incredible.
and he's doing it effortlessly. And just think, he used to do that without boots. He used to do that barefooted when he was heavier.
Right.
Still equally just fly over like nothing.
Jacob picks up the victory right there, so he's securing himself in that triple threat match that is going to happen in the main event of the night. And yeah, he moves on. We get a video. They said earlier tonight, you know, the Street Profits refusing with Nick Aldis to apologize to Legado. How you feel about?
I love what the Prophets are doing, and then again, I'm a fan of what Legado is doing in the ring. Now, again, let me repeat that. I'm a fan of what they're doing in the ring.
Hmm.
Promo stuff. Why is Fantasma begging for an apology? You supposed to be a cold-blooded hitter. Like, come on now. Now, much like with the Tiffany stuff, it's like, why are you doing them dirty like this? That
Again,
is
a few
not
weeks
gangster.
ago, it's not a few weeks ago when he was giving them the prep talk. I told you, I was like, oh, like this is what I like out of Escobar. Like if he gonna be their mouthpiece, he's getting me hype for them. But then they do
And,
nothing.
and how quick were we to regress, especially today? But again, I did love the iteration of Dawkins and Tez basically just bowing up saying, we could run it now. What's good?
Hmm.
And then you had who was doing the backstage segment? Who was running it?
I can't
Was it
remember.
Byron?
I can't remember.
Yeah, but anyways, whoever's doing that when they announced that what was basically gonna go down, you had Tez hit the say less and they just cut out real quick. We'll see what happens in the weeks to come, but I really wish, especially with all the tag teams that have excelled, if I really would have preferred if instead of the card that we're getting, that we every match would have been a chamber match. Because think about it, you have the Street Profits, you have the Legado de Fantasma, you have Pretty Deadly, you have the Machine Guns, you have DIY, and who else? Who else? You could have easily incorporated any other team to be team number 6. Have those teams go in the chamber.
I mean, you got the newly formed team of Miz and Mello.
Oh yeah, you could have had. I'm gonna try to say this with a straight face. Do we call him Ahim or Mellow Don't Miss?
I think Mello don't miss.
Again, you could have them win a couple matches, and they could have been the 6 teams. It's the 6 teams, and then you could have those squads be in the chamber this weekend. You could have swapped out one of the matches.
I mean,
Yeah,
again, they didn't have to have that Trish Stratus and Tiffany tag
no,
team match. That could have been
no,
a SmackDown tonight.
yeah, or even the SmackDown after. Who knows? Whenever. But again, could you imagine if you had those 6 teams in there? It would have been incredible. The
Man,
tag team is deep enough to where you can do whatever the hell you want with them. Now, what we got later on was because we've seen it almost every week for the last 7 8 weeks.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. They did a number on the Street Profits this week too, cause we get back from the commercial. I'm thinking, they're gonna have a match actually,
It
and
was them versus
Los Garza
yeah
DIY with the interference before the pre-match interference.
before everybody else came in. But again, like you could have had all these teams in the chamber with Miz and Mello,
Yep.
and hate to say it, that with even with Miz and Mello involved, this match would have stole the show.
Mm.
I'll die on that hill. This would have been the match of the night.
Nah,
And
I'm
again,
giving it to the men's joint.
well, the men's chamber. We'll get to that here shortly, but the men's chamber seems a bit too obvious for me. This one would have been an outstanding match, and again, it's obvious the winner would have faced the tag team champions. Still, would still be fine. But again, like as far as the spectacle of the match, the utilization of the cage, and just random high spots here and there, this match would have probably been. Yeah, actually, no, fuck it. I'll double down. This match would have been better than men's.
I ain't mad
Now,
at you.
the men's singles match would have more name value, but if we're looking at more the quality of a match, I'm leaning towards this tag match that could have been.
Yeah, that's debatable. I feel like Logan Paul's gonna do some extravagant shit, some shit he ain't supposed to be doing.
We'll get to
I
that.
hate to say
We'll
it.
get to we'll get to that.
And yeah, I mean they had that good old fashioned pull apart. This time it involved a
Eh,
bunch of tag teams. It looked a bit weird at towards the
but
end of it.
WWE is doing pull aparts about as often as they're doing triple threats match nowadays.
But I ain't gonna lie, it was so weird because was it Alex Shelley or what's the other one name?
Chris Sabin.
Chris Sabin? I think it was Chris Sabin. He got like I couldn't even see him behind the security guard. The security guards made him look small.
I mean, they are small,
I know, but damn, we don't gotta highlight that.
and like I said, I mean, but again, like they do pull aparts so often. I'm personally numb to them.
Yeah, this shit didn't even hit. I was just like, I'm waiting for the next segment, which got a little bit more interesting. We see Drew McIntyre.
After this, again, this was one of the episodes to where the first half of the show had a couple good stuff here and there, a lot of bullshit. From this moment on, in the
Started
words of
picking
the
up.
legendary Jim Ross, business picked the fuck up.
Oh yeah, it started picking up. There
This
was a
was all
certain
right.
flow
We
to it.
we we in go home mode. We getting there now. Set the table, my brother.
Drew McIntyre seen walking backstage. He runs into Cody Rhodes.
Mm.
Man, you know he's giving him that talk right there. That talk he kind of gave
Mm.
him last year. He says he got a lot on his mind. He not gonna make his night worse. But if he was in that same position, he wouldn't know what to do either.
And it's funny how, like I said, you had Michael Cole, Punk, and even Truth say, "Hey, take the chance, go ahead, do it." The one voice of reason, the only voice of reason in this has been Drew McIntyre.
Because he highlights the fact that you didn't give The
And
Rock an answer
look back
right
at
away.
Raw when Seth had his turn at Cody. Seth basically just talked him down, saying, "If you do that, I'll lose all respect if you do that."
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in this today, you had Drew saying, "Hey, I get it. Again, I feel for you." The man who, again, the one person you would expect to do what Seth did on Monday has been the only voice of reason for Cody Rhodes. So again, that leads me to believe. Could you imagine if he says yes?
Mm.
But again, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
They take us a commercial break after that moment. They give us what seems to be a hype reel for John Cena, you know, his last Elimination Chamber match. And quickly,
Or so we thought.
yeah, Drew McIntyre
Cut
cuts that shit right
that
off.
bullshit off.
Man, I thought that was
You go
beautiful.
throw us on
I'm
the
not gonna
TV
lie.
truck. If you don't turn it off, I'm gonna beat the piss out of you right now. Get that shit off the screen. Oh, that was beautiful.
And that started to set the table for tomorrow's Elimination Chamber match and basically the road to the real road to WrestleMania for this side of the championship or what's gonna happen here.
And from the gates, now it was touched on not long after, but did you see the way Drew was postured on the announcer's table?
Oh yeah, always that's an iconic sit
N-
down
n-
CM Punk.
again, yeah, that's definitely a nod to Punk or a Punk style, so to speak. But when we all saw that, it's like, hey, wait a minute, is he trolling him again? Like, what's he doing or whatever? But he's going off whatever, and I thought his route was very interesting because it was different. He goes, John Cena told folks, whoever was in the chamber, you got 7 weeks to say whatever you want about me before it's time to throw down. No one said a goddamn thing to say about John Cena, so I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now.
Man,
Drew is an absolute gem on the microphone. He's an absolute gem on the internet, and this was no exception. He said, hey, everyone's scared to do it. Fuck it. I ain't scared of shit. I'll say to the world the same thing I must tell him to his face tomorrow. Your bald spot deserves his own area code.
crazy, crazy,
Drew, beautiful.
crazy. Again, Drew was money. He was talking about how he's not back in the day, he was scared of John, not physically, but politically.
and
Say,
that's a nod to some of the screws that John suffered over the years, as we learned more famously with a gentleman named Aaron Rex. Is that what his name was? The dude that had the dreads from NXT that did the Burning Hammer, Aaron something. Or anyways, I apologize for him, but he did the Burning Hammer, which is similar to the AA, and allegedly Cena was quoted by saying, "I will get you fired if you don't drop that move."
mm,
Allegedly. And this gentleman wasn't in WWE much longer, but again, allegedly John Cena was a hard ass. We don't know whether it's fact or fiction. It's all hearsay, in my opinion. I'm just a messenger. I'm just speaking or I'm paraphrasing as to what's been reported on the internet over the years. Nothing more, nothing less. With that being said, Drew, on the other hand, was letting him know I ain't a kid no more. I'm a
mm-hmm.
grown ass man. As a matter of fact, I'm a monster. I'm the monster that you, much like every motherfucker in history, created. You guys did this to me. You made me the man I am today. You made me the absolute demon I am today.
Ooh,
So what happens to you? You got it coming.
and then enters Damian Priest.
All rise for the outlaw.
Um, yes, I mean,
This is
like,
where it got interesting
I think
because
it's obvious
Priest
that's
had,
where they
Priest had a
might
couple
go.
lines. I'm not gonna be. He had a couple lines that were clever because he identified his or Drew's obsession for the Pepsi Man. If you know, you
Mm-hmm.
know. We'll get to that shortly. But again, then we get to hands down the gentleman that's always very dressed ever so interestingly.
Man,
Man came out with a puffy crop top.
it looked
And
like if he
first of all,
fell, he would have been
how you feel about
comfortable.
Seth's fit? To be honest, don't pull no punches.
I mean, it was not what I would wear. The shit was weird. I don't know
Don't
what
you
who.
dare say it was fire.
Nah, I mean, I don't know who would dress like that. I don't know who.
Okay, aside from a female.
Yeah, that's it. But like, yeah, I don't know anybody else. Maybe some person in Europe and we love Europe, but I'm saying on Fashion Day in London or something. But just on that one day, I don't see this. And I live in New York City. I don't see this often. This is
Or
this is
ever.
yeah, like it has to be an event. Like people don't walk outside like this. This is event. This is shit that people like
You choose
literally.
to walk out looking like that.
Yeah, like you don't walk outside like that. Like come on. So it's like it's very funny, especially like it's not ring gear either. So it's funny to see. Now the other shit he had on before, the big red boots. Okay, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean this
yeah,
might, you know,
that was different.
yeah.
But then after Seth says his bullshit, we hear like Mussolini
Oh wait,
and Kennedy
and says Punk.
saying Seth looks like a goddamn oven mitt.
I'm not gonna lie, Punk was wilding
He
today.
was on his vintage bullshit.
Like again, you said
And
oven
Drew,
mitt, he
you're
cooked
obsessed with
him.
me. Priest, you're cool. I ain't gonna beef with you, but again, if it's me and you in the ring, it is what it is. Seth, what are those?
Tight, man. He also took a shot at John Cena, which I thought was interesting. The verbiage of everything, like
Yeah.
basically saying like John on a retirement tour and he isn't showing up.
Yeah, and that's what I was like. I saw. I was sitting, I was like, that's a little different. Okay, I'm here for it, but all right, cool. But then we
Oof.
hear, and it
Mm.
was like, what the fuck? Matter of fact, you and I both tell each other, what the fuck's going on?
The biggest
And
swerve in a while.
oh man, as God is my witness, the second we see Logan Paul's face, you can feel the air leave the entire city of Toronto, Canada.
The natural heel that I am, I text you laughing my ass off. I was like, bro, he
Logan
got
Paul,
me.
you fucking genius.
That was genius right there. I'm not gonna lie. The one thing I do say, this segment was beautiful. It set the table perfectly. But
Until Logan Paul opened his mouth.
yes, cause I think he wants to be loved by the crowd and like in almost the Rock
He, I,
way.
he wants to be appreciated because he's trying. Now, you and I talked about how WWE's in this supposed participation trophy era. Logan Paul, man to man, I'm looking you dead in the eye right now. Go out with zero fucks given. Embrace the fact that people hate your guts. They hate you because they ain't you. When they walk up to you, they ask you how you doing. You tell them I'm doing better than them. Rock that shit.
Yeah, cause I sense something. You know, Bully be talking about these ticks as of late. He's been saying it on LFG. He's been saying it on Busted Open After Dark. When the crowd is getting on him, it kind of it's a chink in his armor. You don't hear that confidence.
You need to have this mentality. You need to have that DTA mentality. We know you got it in you. It's okay. It's again, folks are gonna like you. Fuck them. Do you? We know you can do this. I
And then
believe you can do this.
he was in a tough spot in my opinion with the crowd because they chanting "fuck you, Logan," which is censorable. We've seen them.
They let it go.
Yeah,
I thought that was or at least what I was from what I was watching. They were letting it go.
maybe it's because he was trucking through his promo and they wanted to at least because that whole thing would have been blurred. You would have not been able to hear anything
You wouldn't
Logan
hear
said.
shit. Now there's a couple of segments to where it was a little quiet out, censored out, but for the most part, you could literally hear "fuck you, Logan. Logan, you suck." I would have soaking that in, and if I'm Logan, I would have said, "Yeah, I suck, but y'all paid to come here anyways, and I'm here.
I
Whether you
feel
like it
like
or not, I'm here." In the
Logan
words of
Paul's
Thanos, I am inevitable.
Logan's
Logan,
Paul's
fuck being a babyface. Rock that shit.
yeah, that shit, I don't know. How you feel about his lines? Like I felt like they were more elementary grade.
I wanted to like the promo segment, but
Lady
his
Gaga
overall
threw up on a hater.
delivery was very inconsistent because again, like I said, maybe he was thrown off by the fact that folks were trying to fuck you, Logan, all this stuff. So like it could have thrown him off, but the overall delivery was hit and miss. Um, especially when Punk tells him, "I'm over here, you idiot." That kind of killed some of his steam. The line towards Priest had promise but missed. The
Bro,
line
Karrion
towards
Cross delivers that line.
the
It
line towards
hits.
Seth, the line towards Seth, in which he talked about how he looked like Lady Gaga threw up or whatever. That could have been better, but again, the delivery, I can hear some doubt in his voice. Um, again, much like Punk, they touched on Cena could even bother to be bothered to show up today. That one went okay, but again, it just seemed like Logan didn't have his traditional confidence because again, he seemed genuinely caught off guard by the crowd's reaction.
And which is surprising because this isn't like it shouldn't be nothing new to him. He just
Right. Or but again, maybe he's genuinely trying to be a baby face, but it's one of those like, bro, like it's okay to be a heel and caught an audible because again, it's good. There's nothing wrong with it.
yeah, I mean, that's the vibes he's giving me. Again, like you just said, he want to be a baby face. That's what I'm coming across when he's getting rattled by. That's the type of heat you want right there. And he's been able to play off of it well before tonight. It just didn't feel that. He did really good with the entrance too, like the false getting up, like
Like
that
I
was
said,
the most beautiful
I
part
said
about it.
coming out to see his music like that was beautifully done. That was I told you that was genius.
We
Just
get on
everything
to,
else.
mhm,
Mm,
yeah. I mean,
mm.
and then with that kind of energy to end that off, which I'm pretty sure that's not what they wanted,
Now the
but
way it ended, I wasn't too mad at because again, Punk basically told him, "Hey, like, I'll do whatever like to your face. Like, just stand right there. I'll be there right now. Don't you worry." Because he told Punk, "Hey, how that jaw feel?
it
I'll
showed
show you."
it showed Logan's a little inexperienced. Hit John's music, hit my music, like what?
Yeah,
Just
that's it. He was definitely caught off guard, and again, as he gets more reps, if he is serious about being a full time guy, the the experience will come, the knowledge will come over time. It's just
whose fucking music did they end up playing? SmackDown's
his.
theme song,
It,
his
it was
like
they ended up playing his,
I was just like,
but again with his song, the running joke is don't no one know what the fuck it is or don't
yeah.
know how it sounds because you never almost never hear it. Which again, if if I was the crew in the back on the truck, I would have played Cena's music or whatever, or again, I would have played the SmackDown theme and have Logan just chime out saying, "That's not my music" as you run from Punk. Something just a play, just play around with it. But again, it's a learning lesson for Logan. So I have all the confidence that he'll be able to bounce back from it. And again, this will all just be just a learning lesson for him.
But yeah, I mean, we get the next match for the United States number one contender
And
tournament.
yeah, we did. And this was probably the more interesting one because it's a match. I believe it's a match we've seen in the past before.
Yes.
And this was the monster of all monsters,
No,
Braun Strowman
not the.
versus Carmella.
It was LA versus
Oh, that's right. No, no,
Santos.
I forget. That's right. It was that one, and that one, honestly, LA and Santos was probably, in my opinion, the best out of all the matches, aside from what we got out of Jacob Andrade.
But I just hate the fact that to me, I went into the match feeling like LA Knight's gonna win this, just
And
off
I
the
was okay
steam.
with that,
Mm-hmm.
but again, I think the way the match was and how it finished sold it for me.
Mm.
Because again, they have history, and Santos kind of knows how to work around LA Knight's style, which is very different from most. And again, it gave LA Knight the best chance to be as productive as possible. Whereas if you would have had anyone else, he obviously would have suffered. But again, the match was fine. That finish was different and incredible.
Yo, I'm surprised Jimmy wasn't in this tournament.
And then I was just getting to that because again, I almost would have been. I almost would have bet that we would have had maybe a Mello versus a Jimmy or something like that, and the triple threat would have had Jimmy and a member of the Bloodline, and then you have Jimmy win and to take on Shinsuke. That's how what I thought should have been the move.
Mm.
But maybe let's see when is this U.S. title match supposed to take place? Not Mania, right?
I don't know, but kind of what you said earlier, it was kind of meaningless. We
Yeah,
already had LA Knight advertised as number one contender to have this tournament to name him number one
Jimmy's not
contender
hurt
again.
again, is he?
Not that I know of.
Right. I mean, maybe they're saving the Jimmy match for Mania. I would hope, but aside from that, it's like why wasn't Big Jim in the match? Big Jim, out of all of them, the only one that been winning. Let's think about that. Aside from Jacob, Jim's the only one that's been taking dubs.
How they stopped putting Tama in matches?
I'm not going down that road right now. we're not going there right now.
LA Knight advances. He's the second competitor that punches his ticket for the night for the triple
With the
threat
RKO
match.
out of nowhere, I mean a BFT.
BFT. Man, we get the Sami Zayn entrance. I was surprised to see him make his way to the ring after all of these backstage filmed things they've been doing. How'd you feel about tonight? I feel like Kevin Owens revealing the stadium. I mean,
So
whatever.
so
Is it the
before
stadium or?
we get into that,
Hmm.
is that the only thermal shirt that Sami Zayn has?
Bro, he on his Cactus Jack, bro.
No, no, no. I think that's the only one he's worn. The only colorway he's worn. I know he's got other ones, but that green, blue, teal one, whatever, that's the one we've seen in the last few weeks.
it's
Or am I tripping?
it's cozy. You don't like that? It's cozy though.
But I
Yo,
mean,
you know what? Yo, Sammy, put that on the WWE shop. We need that flannel. We need that.
some flannels are expensive enough as it is.
We need that.
Speak for yourself.
Especially if it got the warm inside. Oh man, you definitely need that.
but
I'll be on here
honestly,
every episode. Every time he wear it, I'll wear it.
honestly, his promo specifically, I was over it weeks ago. This is one of those things where Kevin is more at his best than Sammy is, because Sammy is I don't know, but as far as the overlay of the Rogers Center, which we'll see tomorrow, that setup looks amazing.
I seen online somewhere like somebody mentioned they should like since it's gonna be unsanctioned, strip all the LED lights when it comes time to their match. Just make it almost like a blackout.
What in the ring?
Yeah, like the
I
L.
agree.
Yeah,
I agree, because essentially it's an and matter of fact, someone had posted on Twitter. I can't recall who it was. For that, I apologize. But they had asked, or they had posted that match should main event. Well, historically, unsanctioned matches go on after the
after.
main event when the show is technically over. So I would assume this match will go on after the men's chamber, assuming that match is the main event. Um, because then, like I said, have the LEDs on the ring or whatever, have that all blacked out. Um, I honestly, I would go as far as to play their theme songs without the Titantron playing, or maybe even no music at all. Just have the announcer just have them just say, "Hey, here comes Sammy, here comes Kevin, ring the bell, blah blah," and just do something like that. Don't even play
Or
their entrance.
or do we do some borderline disrespectful shit and let that fake open up the night like before the actual PLE starts?
No, no, because nothing's gonna top that. What they're gonna do,
Mm.
what they're gonna do is gonna be different than from everybody else, and yeah, no, especially with as much history as they have, and with just the personal stuff with them and their home country, Canada, everything as a whole, that match has to go on last.
No, I'm buying what you're selling me, but my thing is too. I'm also looking at your background, the final boss and Cody. Do they not close off the show to send us off with some impact, some something to chat about, some
Okay,
Sunday
I didn't
morning?
even have that in consideration, to be honest. Mm,
That's why I'm having reservations. Like, Kevin Owens and
mm.
Sammy really end off the night? Like, we still got the final boss and Cody. Like, where do they fit in this?
Mm.
Where does the men's chamber fit in this?
So the men's chamber will ultimately be the last match, but okay, what if they do the men's chamber match, then the Cody Rock segment, and then there's like a random like dead air or whatever, and you have whether it's Cole or Mackie or say, well, we just see what had happened with Rock and Cody, and folks, my sincerest apologies, but we now must go into our unsanctioned match for the evening.
I wouldn't be mad at that because it'll still have the same effects. I think.
But my thing with that is you would need a specific time, a minute or two long after the Cody and Rock segment ends.
Yeah, a moment like, what the fuck did we just witness?
Allow them. Give Cole, Mack, whoever's on the commentary
Digest
crew,
it.
let them digest it, soak it in. Just like, whoa, did we really just they they're really doing that, huh?
Yeah, I don't want to see no advertisements, no extra cut scene going to.
I wouldn't even be mad if they show that usual what Triple H does with the NXT Black Gold stuff, where you see the slogan, the bottom left, where they do the like the closing credits, whatever. You throw that in, and then you go to Cole and say, Cole goes, well, now we go to our unsanctioned match. So something
That,
along the lines,
that
maybe
that's how it should be though, because I
because
mean it's gonna be there at the chamber, but it isn't sanctioned by WWE.
yeah.
So
So in theory, in kayfabe, it's not part of the actual card.
right, so that rollout would be perfect.
Now, will they go the extra miles like we've laid out? Probably not. Will it be pretty close? I would hope.
Because I'm gonna be honest, I think tomorrow gets physical between The Rock and Cody. For some weird reason, just seeing the belt that he was holding today.
Well, here's why I can anticipate that. Do you know who's been active on Twitter as of late?
Nah.
Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman.
Mm.
Roman Reigns says that he has implied that he will be at the Rogers Center tomorrow. Receipts will now be handed. And Paul Heyman posted a picture with the Ulafala. Could we see our tribal chief pull up in Canada to either regulate the men's chamber match or to bow up to Cody and his cousin?
Mm.
Let that sink in.
Yeah, that's a lot to digest right there, folks. I'm not even gonna lie. But just to give, like I said, if we come across something that's related, who would you have winning this Sami Zayn and Kevin? I know we spoke about it. I think Randy Orton may make an appearance tomorrow, surprisingly.
Either KO wins and Randy comes out, or it's a no contest.
Mm. Then we get Kevin and Sami at Mania, a real
No,
a
Randy
actual
comes out at
match.
a SmackDown.
Okay.
Because say it could be one of those things to where similar to how Randy got taken out. Because if you remember when Randy got taken out, Kevin was still standing.
Mhm.
You remember that street fight that he had with KO at Saturday's main event?
Yep.
How Randy was taking out KO. We could have something similar to that. And then KO pops out to say this coming SmackDown. He's mouthing off whatever. And as he's mid sentence, I hear voices in my head. They
Mm.
counsel me. They talk to me. Either
Mm.
way, I mean, whether Randy still up everyone wants Randy to show up because to set up for him versus KO. But honestly, if we gotta wait an extra week for that, I'm okay with that because Sammy and KO is special enough to where if that's all we get out of them two, even whether it's KO winning, Sam winning, or no contest, that's all just fine.
Mhm.
Because the last thing you want is for something on this show as the way it's being shaped out for something to get lost in the shuffle. That's the last thing we want.
Right, cause in my mind, a lot is gonna happen tomorrow.
And like many of us, a lot of us are anticipating quite a bit to happen tomorrow,
And they start at 6:30, so do
and that
they?
seems and that seems to be the new start time now.
Mm. Now, is this just for WrestleMania season or?
We'll think about the last few shows have had the same start time. So
Mm.
this may be the future moving forward because my theory with that is with every time that WWE has a PLE, UFC's either have a fight night or a pay per view that same night. So when the main event ends, whether it be the unsanctioned match or whatever the fuck, It ends right before either the co-main or the main event of that UFC pay-per-view starts. That way, folks can still watch both.
Mm,
Or again, but that's how it's been for the last few shows.
right, right, right.
If that's the normal moving forward, I'm not mad at it. As a matter of fact, I kind of prefer the start time of 1 hour earlier because again, we can enjoy it, still be satisfied, digest whatever, and then it say if you and I decide to go live or whatever, it's not too late in the night for both of us.
I mean that it is a better structure to me, and I think it also gives them wiggle room. Like let's say, for example, when they book in an arena, they book in from the start of that day to the end of the night, so it gives them wiggle room to not go past, allow people to work whatever they gotta do after.
Or like how they did the Rumble, for example, it gives that wiggle room to where if they want to push that 4 hour marker, they can do it, and it's still feasible.
Yeah, because
Rumble, we got 4.5 hours.
essentially you starting at 6:30, you just starting where the pre-show used to be,
Right,
moving the
and again, ain't
pre-show up
nothing
a
wrong
little
with
bit.
that.
Yeah, it's not like they just open the doors any earlier. Like, nah, the door's been open. Let's get this thing rolling then.
But as we get back to Rook to touch features on that KO segment, this man is an absolute fucking goblin. Sammy, I'm gonna hurt you, and I'm gonna watch your family suffer because you can't do what you used to do to pay the bills anymore.
Mm.
I'm not gonna help you. I'm gonna watch them suffer.
Yeah, I mean that's diabolical work right
but
there.
but I will argue this. Much like with the Cody situation, I still believe Kevin Owens is in the right because folks essentially went back on their own word, and Kevin's trying to say, "Hey, you lied to yourself. Therefore, I got to take you up because you lied to yourself. You broke a promise you made to yourself. Me as your close friend, your brother, your confidant, whatever you want to call it, I got to put you in check now because you forced my hand."
You feel he's validating in that angle?
Oh, 1000%.
Oh,
Much like with the stuff with Cody, it's like, again, look at the situation Cody's in now, folks. Kevin was right. He's been right all along.
mm, that's deep.
We thought Sam was gonna be the conspiracy theorist. Nah, Kevin's doing it better, but Kevin ain't doing no conspiracies. He's speaking facts.
He's laying it out there.
And he making it known.
He's kind of doing what Drew's doing, but in a different flavor almost.
And a
Like,
different flavor, just as effective, just as good, just as entertaining, equally as accurate, maybe even more accurate.
yeah, cause he's on more crash out mode. As if we see 1 week with Drew, he crashing out. The next week, he's just like,
Drew's only cashing on Punk. Kevin's crashing on everybody, and he's basically going to all his people that he considers friends, saying, much like what the Rock's been teasing, "You broke my heart. You broke my trust. Now in the words of Jey Uso, now I gotta get you."
mm-hmm, man. I think tonight did a good job with setting up for the chamber. I think it did better than Raw did. I mean, it is what it is. Like again, we say these are the go home shows, so it's like only so much they can really do. Raw was a bit of different flavor, but yeah, we get a backstage segment. Carmelo Hayes and Miz. We kind of spoke about it earlier. Awesome or all him and Melo Miz. They kind of growing on me. I like their little duo. They was able to put together a finisher quick last week.
I'm gonna need them T-shirts when they come out, especially that Aw Him one.
Miz offers some help to Carmelo. He tells him like, I'm going out there with you tonight, and Melo's like, nah, I got this. which that was kind of bold because the person he got to face is Braun Strowman, the monster among men. So
One big some bitch.
I do like that Carmelo was attempting to fight that battle on his own. We also see Cody Rhodes and Miz backstage. I thought that was funny.
I almost forgot about that one.
Hmm. I mean, how'd you feel about that? Like,
Mm. Much like we got later on with Punk put his 2 cents in, Miz definitely got some emotions out of Cody.
definitely.
And again, this is another reason why I say Miz needs to be a Hall of Famer because he's in that select few of a category where not many folks can jerk at the emotional chords like the Miz.
And,
He's slick on the mic to where like a certain few others that were aforementioned, they'll make you go at war with your own self.
and he's painting this picture for Cody right here. Like, he says, The Rock runs Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? This is
He
your chance to go
he
higher.
runs it all. Yeah, again, it's okay to go take that deal because again, everything you worked for, the door's right there.
And also puts things in perspective for him. If you don't take that offer, maybe somebody else will.
Yeah,
Mm. I think a few people had that speculation, like, what if Punk takes the offer? What if Cena takes the offer? I think that's the more. I mean, not them two, but like it could be anybody. I don't give a shit who it is. It could be Tozawa that took the offer.
could be
Like
Jey Uso.
it could be Jay. I feel like it's gonna be somebody else. What if
But
it was what if it was Paul Heyman that took the offer type shit? Like you know what I'm saying? And just start some
let's talk about that real quick because again,
and Punk gets no favor now.
hypothetical. No. Let's go a little deeper than that. Let's say Punk takes the offer. Okay, Punk has already told Roman Paul is our wise man. If Punk sides with the final boss and he tells Roman Paul's coming with me, fuck what you think. The wise man belongs to me and the final boss.
Mm,
Imagine that trio together.
mm, man.
Again, uh, there is an abundance of expectations tomorrow with Cody's decision and the men's chamber match.
Oof. It takes us into our next match for the evening. The third participant that's gonna punch their ticket for the main event, Braun Strowman, Carmelo Hayes. I'm not gonna lie, something felt funny about this. Like I was like, again, you said it earlier. We seen this matchup before. Braun Strowman, Carmelo Hayes. It didn't go so well for Carmelo the first time.
And you knew stuff was going sideways when the first thing that we see is Melo slapping Braun in the back of the head.
Man,
Like, my boy, you ain't learned the first 10 times about that? Come on
but
now.
I feel like it was almost instantly we see interference.
Yeah,
Doug break.
it seemed very rapid to me.
Yeah, Tamatunga appeared. Then it happened so fast that I kind of almost didn't see how Solo end up with the chair. To be honest, like
I think he
things.
came out with it.
Okay, yeah, like things were just moving a little bit fast at that moment, and like Braun Strowman did something that I knew was gonna backfire against him. After he took the chair from Solo, he threw it in the ring. Now I didn't know where this was gonna lead to.
What I thought was kind of funny to where after that happens, we see Tama trying to intervene with Braun in front of the referee. The referee did not ring the bell for a DQ.
And I found
That's
it
when I was
weird.
like, oh, we doing some bullshit now. Again,
Yeah.
as to what we saw not long after, well, I wasn't horribly mad at it, but it's one of those. you had a chance to make this tournament something different, something special, and this was the first stage of two in which they just pissed all over all the progress they were making.
But the one thing I can appreciate about like out this specifically was Carmelo Hayes' callback to Eddie Guerrero with the chair.
Thank you.
That was it.
Oh,
That was the best moment that came out of this whole tournament, to be
I'm gonna
honest.
be honest. When I heard the chair slap and him lob the chair and him just drop to the floor, I got a little choked up because, like I said, that callback
Man, it was
to the
beautifully done.
late great Hall of Famer Latino Heat Eddie Guerrero.
What's up, Amethyst? Yeah, that man. When I
That
seen
was
that,
beautifully done. That was the only saving grace of that match segment, whatever you want to call it. But that was a blessing in disguise that came after that was presented to Mello after a whole bunch of bullshit had transpired, and he happened to pick up on that. But again, everything else I feel did not need to happen. I know Solo had talked about handling Braun for Jacob, but it still is just like there's a few ways that again a few routes that could have gone that would have made it more effective. But again, we got what we got.
you good, Amethyst. Appreciate you being here. Yeah, I mean, I was hoping for a little bit more showcase out of Carmelo in that match, but it is what it is. They booked him against Braun Strowman, so this was a creative way to get him out of there with the win for me. The next match, though, I was really not a fan of, bro. And I was live on TikTok, and there were people in the chat hopeful. There's people, hoping for that Jade moment. And I'm thinking the community's getting a little bit, at least the folks that stop by over on TikTok, they seem to want to see this Jade stuff unfold already. Like there was
And
no interest in this match right here.
and this match was what Bailey, Naomi, and Bianca versus Roxanne, Liv, and Raquel. Correct?
Yep.
Yeah, this was a complete waste of time. Nothing against all six women. It's just this is bad placement, borderline wrong place at the wrong time. Had this happened on Monday before the tag team title match, maybe different story. But this after the tag team title match, nah,
I
this
think
wasn't
it's
the
quite
move.
obvious what they want to do here. Like the chamber, I think they want to lead to something between Bailey and Roxanne that's gonna get them maybe a WrestleMania match or something between each other. I don't know. It just seems like they're furthering their little feud right there.
Okay, so
Which
then much like we talked about with doing Tiffany and Trish, you could have did Raquel versus Bianca and Naomi versus Liv or something like that today. Something. You could have had a tag team title rematch for all I care. It would have been better than this.
this is what I'm saying. The first thing that Liv and Raquel have to do upon winning the championships is being a 6 woman tag match. Like
Non-title.
they should either be given a night off or be put in a tag team division where okay, we defending against another tag team tonight. Like you said, we're spinning the block on them, beating them again
Or
tonight. Like what are
or
we doing?
again, because they're all in the chamber, you could have had Liv versus either Bianca or Naomi.
Like
Preferably Naomi, because that way again, if stuff would have went south. Then you could have teased maybe a Jade return, say Bianca would have interfered and then accidentally got Naomi snuffed. There again, there was a few stuff in this show that was negative, and could have been completely avoidable had you gone about 4 or 5 different routes.
I'm gonna be honest. Like, I hate to be the person that does this, but I
I
gotta
don't.
be the one. It's like I gotta shit on what's going on in the women's division right now. We spoke about it with Tiffany earlier. Like this little, I thought we was gonna get some some new breath with Liv and Raquel winning the champ. It's just right back to the same carousel shit. It
Why
didn't make me
is
excited
the
for the
women's
women's chamber.
division with NXT and TNA prospering more than the main roster? Why? Why is the C show doing better than the A and B show as far as the women's division?
The only thing that comes to my immediate mind is that you have the same players in the same place. It's just like I haven't seen a upgrade. Somebody take a jump from being in this division or storylines really progressing. It's just Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. What the hell they doing? What are
Where's
they
Michin?
competing? Like, and then they letting
What's
go of
Shotzi and her crew doing?
They done let go of females that could have been useful right now. Blair
Where's Kate and
Davenport,
Carter and Katana Chance?
BFAB.
We shouldn't have to be waiting for the man to fix everybody's problems.
They let go of Electra.
Again, there's no reason why we should be waiting on Becky Lynch to unfuck the division.
But why she got to be
Could she
put in
help?
position?
Yes. But the fact that many of us are waiting for her to be the savior of the division, it shouldn't be like that.
I
But
deny
again,
you.
we got what
She
we
should be
got
getting that soon.
out of that match. I believe Roxanne picked up the pin with Pop Rocks, but then
I hope so, Amethyst. I'm not getting my hopes high, but I hope so.
well, Amethyst, answer your question. He did say that receipts are going to are going to be now returned now, so maybe he pops up tomorrow, later today, whatever. I'm hopeful. Heyman has been tweeting some stuff as well, so again, there's a chance. We shall see.
I love chances.
But again, speaking of chances, after Roxanne scores the pinfall, she's then snuffed by Alexa Bliss wearing a very familiar outfit. And
Mm.
I don't give a flying fuck what Joe Tessitore calls it. This is Sister Abigail, not the Abigail DDT. I don't
Mm.
give a shit what you're calling it.
Man, it's always that.
Call it what it is. But we see that. I'm not quite certain what Bliss uttered to Roxanne before, or she got Roxanne hit with the DT or whatever. But she mutters some words. She stands up. We then see a little snippet in the camera lens from the White Six.
Mm.
Now, again, I may be getting my hopes up with this, but the lifeblood of the family is now prevalent. What they choose to do with Bliss is entirely up to them, but it seems like we know what the obvious move is. Just
Again,
will
I
they
said
commit
it.
to it?
If they want to do something and throw a little different look, you either put Roxanne or Alexa Bliss, and Alexa Bliss is like you want to make her
It
watch
has to be Bliss.
six.
There's no
Yeah.
other option. But again, like with what we saw today, um, if Bliss is to win tomorrow, it would undoubtedly have to be with the aid of maybe a Nikki Cross.
Mm.
It almost has to if she's gonna be the one to win.
fuck it though. I wouldn't mind some like supernatural shit happening in that match. Fuck it. It's been some time since we've seen it. Like,
And again, she's tailor made for because of her history with Bray. It's only right.
and I've been asking for that type of shit. Over the top characters, like I'm kind of getting stale with the whole everybody's a regular person kind of vibe. Like I don't know. It's not the wrestling I grew up on, to be honest. Like,
It's very Wednesday nightish.
yeah, like I grew up with characters: The Undertaker, Kane, Mankind, Razor Ramon, Diesel.
Hey yo. But
You
well, then,
had
then again, we also learned of the likes of Bam Bam Bigelow, Big Van Vader, Mabel, Macho Man Randy Savage, Roddy Piper, Jake the Snake Roberts,
and I feel
Papa
like you right.
Shango.
You had regular name guys, right? Like, although maybe like Jake Roberts, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart.
Well, I wouldn't call Jake the Snake just a normal person.
Nah, he's not a normal
Respectfully, of
person. I'm
course.
talking about first name, last name, not his character. Speaking, because you know Vince Mon, he was making characters. He wasn't making people. He was making characters. He was making goobly gobblers. That's what the fuck Vince was making.
Yep.
So it's like that's the type of shit. And I'm not gonna lie, a little bit of that is what shaped wrestling to what it was for some. When it's all
Larger
combined
than
together,
life figures.
Edge,
Yokozuna, Giant
Edge is
Gonzalez, Kane,
Christian. Yeah, those aren't X Pac, The Rock.
Great Khali,
You feel me? Big Show.
Batista, technically.
Rey Mysterio sound like a first name, last name, but it's really
Rey
not.
Mysterio was a product of Mexico because he was Rey Mysterio Jr., so that wasn't technically pre my WWE, but to that argument, you could say, or he inherited the Cruiserweights of WCW. So like a Kidman, he look what he did with Billy and Chuck. Look how he turned Chuck Palumbo from FBI into this motorcycle guy. Again, look at
Look at Penta. Penta's a modern day, like what I'm talking about. He's a character. He's not
mhm.
going out there with Penta Rodriguez.
R Truth,
All truth. The
Santino
Miz.
Marella.
You feel me? Like, that's just golden. Austin Theory. It's shit like that. Like, there's few that got the names regular Randy Orton, John Cena, Brock
Okay,
Lesnar's,
but
but not everybody
it
has
was
to be like that.
but as far as Randy, specifically that 0809 Randy,
Look at the Cerebral Assassin, Triple H.
the King of Kings,
You feel me? Batista,
the Animal,
Booker T.
the five time, five time, five time, five time WCW champion.
Rikishi, Yokozuna,
Like Amethyst said, the tribal chief.
the Tribal Chief.
One could argue main event Jey Uso.
Like, you feel me? That's what I mean. Like Roman, I was saying that earlier before you came in too, Amethyst, that Roman has been able to be that character. That's why when you take him away, everything feels kind of stale. It's like everybody's a regular just competitor. Like it's like, oh yeah, I can outdo you, but there's no real like superseding stories. Like
Until now,
Judgment Day do a good job. I think the Judgment Days they do a good job because they almost got a
look at
longevity as
Dominic,
long
yeah.
as yeah, like they got a
But as far as
long.
the bloodline, like we have now, you have Solo and Jacob, even Tama, their
Yeah,
own characters.
yeah, because Jacob is just
Big
like
Jim,
that.
Kevin
Gotta
Owens,
be
and
yeah,
Sammy.
gotta be that coming up and just being like a right like Lyra Valkyria. I feel like just because you got an outfit on, even sometimes like that I appreciate the costumes, the outfit change, the gear, but I need more out the aggression side, out the personality side.
Character development.
Yeah. You know, like I hear the commentators tell me why you got these wings on, but you gotta sell me on why you got these wings on.
You got to show me why you have these wings.
Yeah, like just the little things. Where was Jimmy tonight? We asked that question earlier.
Again,
Why wasn't he in the
we
tournament?
felt he should have been the tournament. Could you imagine round one was Big Jim versus Mello, and in the triple threat we got potentially Solo, Braun, and Jim? Imagine what that would have done.
Mm. I mean, I would be mad at it. Jimmy drawing up plays with the OTC as they should be.
I mean, he did. Our OTC did say he's the quarterback. He calling the plays.
Do we
You've
have,
earned that
do we
right.
do we refer to him as the YTC or the OTC? Ah, Raise
No
ain't
comment.
like that.
No
Raise
comment.
ain't like that.
No comment. Respectfully, of course.
Both. The affirmative, both.
There's
Respect,
only one acronym.
respect, respect.
There is only one acronym.
But we get the main event of the evening, triple threat match to determine number one contender, Carmelo
And
Hayes.
another
Oof.
amazing gem by Jacob Fatu.
Talk about it. Lead us in.
I don't know if I could do it justice. That's the problem.
Man.
Jacob again, like I'm just glad that the WWE universe now has the privilege of seeing this man be a master on the microphone as well as the master in the ring. Like I told you before, when Jacob first signed, even before he signed, this man is special. This man is different in every positive way of the word. They don't make him like him. They never made him like him. He is legitimately a one of one.
Oh yeah. He projects his voice. I feel that through the television set.
All
You
gas,
know what
no
I
brakes.
mean?
That ain't no gimmick. That is him to the fullest.
Yeah. And it's so real. Like it get me geared up for the match. Like that
That
whole
man cut a
one shot.
promo. He'll make folks want to run through a brick wall because he just hypes them up.
Bro, sometimes like we take it for granted, but these are things people weren't doing 10 years ago. That one continuous shot from the backstage, walking through Gorilla, cutting promo, heading into the match, cut my music on. Like that's elite shit right there.
I said he has a very commanding presence
Hell
that
yeah.
some of the universe isn't accustomed to seeing. Many of us haven't seen this in probably 20, 30 years, if that.
Now,
And on top of that, unlike others where it may come off as forced or whatever or rebellious, this is 100% organic because even when it comes out, you can hear folks chanting, Jacob, Jacob, Jacob,
crowd
Jacob.
loves him. Loves him. They absolutely love him. As do
And,
we over here.
and everything he's getting is rightfully deserved. It's been a long time coming. And
I was
again, he's
interested these three people in the ring together, Carmelo Hayes, Jacob. I mean, we seen Jacob in LA Knight, but I was surprised to see Carmelo in there with them.
and even Mello. I appreciate that he was selling the injury in his entrance. I appreciate that because again, a lot of folks they don't listen to attention to detail.
Hmm.
I've been preaching that for quite a while. The little things like that makes you a bigger star.
It was back and forth action between everybody. They was finding ways to neutralize Jacob out of the match. It was those spots, Mello with the hip attack on the apron, keeping Jacob out the match for a few more. Um, Eventually, Jacob gets his way back into the ring when they come back for commercial break. That's when
Now,
most of his offense starts to
how
come
many
in.
commercial breaks does this match have?
It pissed me off honestly when they went to that first commercial break right there. I'm not even sure how many they went to, but that first one, just no, I went up in
Now,
arms. I was like, yo, here we go.
did that first break, was that before or after LA Knight did that little spot? No, that might be there where LA did a spot from the apron to the announce table onto Jacob.
That's after they came back.
Okay,
But yeah, I thought it was weird how they did it. They went to commercial break and came back picture in picture halfway through. So I was just like, bro, what? I don't know. That shit, little things like that just bother
yeah,
me. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
yeah, you're not alone. Yeah, I feel.
Yeah,
But
they gonna beat the dead horse about it. Yep.
back to the spot I just mentioned. I told you I had a joke about this, and you know what that spot kind of reminded me of a little bit?
What's
Darby
that?
Allen,
Where when
because
LA Knight did the springboard crossbody on the outside.
yeah, on the Jacob board he lands
Yeah,
on top of the announce table. Darby Allen came to mind because again we see Atlanta do all these spots to where they're very 50-50, if that. And for most of them, he's been on the south side of the 50-50 where he very, very closely dodges a major injury. This was no exception to that, and it's just like, bro, like, what is the point?
my first thought was that vest you have on right there, Stone Cold Steve Austin, didn't need to do that shit. They're about the same fucking size.
This
If he was
man
built
is
like Seth Rollins, okay, I could see that.
no, yeah, but when you north of 250, it's like, bro, like again, gravity is a real thing. You don't have to do all that. It's okay.
Again, and I want to just play devil's advocate. We say, oh, it's amazing when Jacob does it, but it plays into his character. He's the Samoan werewolf. He's about to do anything for that blood. LA Knight's character doesn't breed to me death defying move, risky stuff. Like it just, I don't know. Like his character actually hasn't even really gave me an identity of what he should be doing in the ring.
Comparing
Period.
LA Knight to Jacob Odd 2 is like comparing, let's see, Chris Masters to Bam Bam Bigelow.
Right.
It's impossible. Two completely different styles.
Again, you wouldn't even see Chris Masters doing that shit.
Exactly.
Like that's why I don't understand
You wouldn't
why.
even see Stone Cold or The Rock do have the shit that LA Knight tries to do.
Now let me ask you, as a fan, you saying that and I say that. What did that do for for LA Knight? Like, let's say Jacob gets hurt, he gets hurt. Do we like appreciate
Well,
him
on,
more?
on that
Like,
on that specific spot, I could be wrong, but LA Knight missed that corner probably by about 7-8 inches.
now is it
And
something
that
he
corner
needs
would
to
have been
add
right
to?
up his fucking Kaforka. And
As it
again,
something he
which
needs
is
to
my
add?
second thing. Again, Wade Barrett got a little bit too much admiration or adoration for Elenat's Kaforka, whatever that may entail.
Right. But again, I ask, does he need to add this to the arsenal?
No, fuck no.
It's such a high risk move for such a low payoff on a Friday night
So,
SmackDown.
let me ask you this. Now, again, for some of the bigger names, we can name like anywhere from 2 to 6 moves that like a Superstar's bread and butter. What is LNS bread and butter aside from the BFT?
That springboard in the
Exactly.
corner, that
Oh,
box
okay,
jump.
so
Excuse me,
the springboard, the box jump, whatever. That's one.
and that's it.
Yeah. Everything else, it's almost like he's experimenting on the fly.
Yeah,
Hogan, body slam, leg drop. Cena, 5 moves of doom. Batista, power bomb. Or no, excuse me, spinebuster power bomb. Triple
but
H, high knees, spinebuster, pedigree.
I always refer to the video games. There's nothing wrong with being a brawler. Like I used to pick Austin, bro. His moves was just you just strike with him,
Yeah,
drop elbows, a Luthez press.
just I'm gonna beat your ass.
Maybe that shit from the corner when he get on the second middle rope and drop another elbow.
Yeah,
And then you line him up for the stunner. You do the taunt. Get up,
LA
get
Knight's
up.
doing stuff, doing about 10 different moves from every other week. There's always something different with them.
Hell, I'm gonna be honest. The Rock ain't really no disrespect to him, but he ain't do much either. He did strikes,
But the
wraparound
bread and butter
DDT with some
was
flair.
spine buster, people's
People's
elbow,
elbow,
rock
rock
bottom.
bottom. Yeah,
But like I said, what at some point in time you gotta just establish your bread and butter. You gotta establish your signature moves from the finisher. Now, granted, now the match previously with Santos, that springboard in or whatever that dive into the BFT, that was very different, innovative. I fucks with it. Fast forward to what we saw later on, towards like, what is your setup for the BFT to begin with? Is it meant to be like the RKO when it's out of nowhere? You got to hit some shit to set it up. Like, what we doing? There's no consistency.
yeah. It gives me stunner RKO vibes. Like it's in the middle of both. Where he hits it out of nowhere, but to me, in my opinion, it'd be set up better if he kicked him in the gut first, almost like a stunner.
Or even when he hits it out of nowhere, it's very common that, much like what we saw with the finish of this match, where if he hits it out of nowhere, you know some bullshit's gonna follow it, which we saw today, to where he hits it and then Mello, or no, or he hits it whatever, and then him and Jacob go at it. Hits Jacob with it, and then, or no, who did he? No, no, scratch that. Who did he hit with it?
He hit Mello,
Yeah, he hit Mello with it. No,
and then the Fatu broke up the pinfall.
that's what it was. And then Jacob has his stuff, hits everything, hits his bread and butter, hits the moonsault. Alien Knight drags Fatu out of the ring and struggles to do it, then gets the pin 1, 2, 3. And that kind of, like I said, that kind of ruined.
Matter of fact, I don't even think he hit a BFT in this match.
He didn't. I
I
know we
think he
get.
went. No, I think he went for it on Jacob, and then that's when
No,
Carmelo
no,
came
yeah. He hit
flying
the, yeah.
through.
Mel hit the first 48. That's what happened,
Yeah, yup.
and that was an
That
incredible
was
spot right there.
beautiful. That was beautiful.
But again,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but Fatu hits the moonsault and then gets dragged out by LA Knight, and it leads to a very flat finish, in my opinion.
Yeah, bro. It took the air out the room. It definitely took the air out the room. It gave me vibes of what we're doing this bullshit again. Like, and
And back to what I said at the start of the show, and with what we learned leading up to this, from what we initially were led to believe, these 4 matches were now proven to be pointless.
the thing that bothered me, Jacob ain't take the pinfall, but you put him in a position where he didn't win the match. So it's just like, damn, it kind of kills the for me the like, damn, he
And
can't
given what
lose.
we and given what we saw, why couldn't you just put Solo in that spot?
He lost clean. Nobody came out to fuck his shit up. Nobody helped, like tried to help. If anything, Solo and Tama delivered on what they got the biggest competitor out the match, or so they tried to. They got Braun Strowman out. Carmelo's tactics helped secure getting the big competitor out the match.
Or again, like, say you take Braun out, you throw a big Jim in there, you leave Solo in that match instead of Braun versus Mello. You have Jim versus Mello. You have Solo versus Andrade or whatever. Everything else stays the same roughly. There's a lot of things they could have done that would have been better than what we ended up getting, which was essentially half the show.
Yeah, it was a bizarre way to end it for me. I thought they would have did something else right there. I'm like, I'm not really sure what that was about, but yeah.
I hated it.
I mean, I thought it was again. People want to take away the bloodline from the championships, but I think once you put them close to it, like you did tonight, for me personally, I want to just see them win it. Damn it, it's gonna add more to the story rather than whatever the fuck they doing with LA Knight and Shinsuke. Like, now it was cool when Shinsuke came out and like out of nowhere won the title from LA Knight, but as we seen, nothing really culminated from that. Nothing's really.
Yeah.
It's not like Shinsuke. He basically just captured the title and got it hostage, low key. And it really don't make sense when Shinsuke's doing this. I'm searching for a worthy competitor. You basically shitted on the idea of LA Knight, like, nah, that wasn't official, and then he wins anyway.
I do have breaking news as to what happened after the SmackDown went off the air.
Uh-oh.
Cody got the dog shit kicked out of him by Solo.
Oh.
And again, we're there anyways. Let's lead to the closing moments of the show, which was
Yeah, lead us
we
on.
we were getting some words, or basically some words from Cody
Wow.
Rhodes with Michael Cole calling the interview essentially. And I thought it was absolutely hilarious that because of how where they were on time, Michael Cole was definitely an aggressive interviewer. Did you pick up on that?
Hell yeah.
Well, because usually they let the song breathe or whatever. Cole was straight to the point. He asked the question. Cody said like three, 4 words, and Cole says, "Stop ducking the question. Answer me. Just think about it." Like Punk has said before, like Drew has said before, like our or not Drew, but our Truth has said before. You could have it all. Your life will get substantially easier. Will
He
you
was
give him your
definitely
soul?
he was definitely grilling him and showing and then telling him the brighter things that he can get.
But I thought it was interesting how Cody was leaving the ring before the Rock's video started playing.
Mm.
Like so someone fucked up there. But we see a video package. It's a black Ford Raptor in an airport tarmac, I believe. It's the Rock comes out. He has a weight belt on his shoulder. We don't see it just yet, so we're just thinking it's the usual bullshit. And he's doing the usual spiel. Cody, I trust you're gonna do the right thing. You will accept my challenge. You will make me embrace you as my brother and as my champion. And he's going on and on. And then we get to the meat and potatoes. He brings out a customized Ford Raptor for Cody with
Which I
the
need
American
that.
Nightmare logos and all that, which is very beautiful. But as he's talking about that, we then get to the weight belt that was displayed to Cody, where he has the white belt that says Cody's Soul. And then we get the date of July 11th, 2015, which, for those that may not know, was the unfortunate date in which the American Dream ascended into the heavens.
Man, what a way to tug at the heart right there.
And I find it funny because not that funny, but I thought it was interesting how Rock was kind of reiterating stuff that was said to Cody after WrestleMania 40 and other things before, to where he was reiterating to Cody, this was the date where your family broke my heart. Cody, I told you before, I'm gonna tell you again, don't break my heart again. I've met your wife, I've met your beautiful daughter, our family has broken bread together. We've FaceTime together at once, in which Brandy Rose put on Twitter, basically, when did y'all FaceTime?
Mm.
But overall, I mean, The Rock's promo was absolutely beautiful. And then to where he brings out another gift for Cody, which was a customized red Ford Raptor with Cody's logos all over it. So basically, The Rock's telling Cody, whatever you want is yours. Whatever your daughter wants, whatever your family wants, consider it done. All I ask is that you be my champion and you give me your soul.
Mm.
Once you do that, anything you can possibly dream of, stuff you didn't think you could dream about, stuff your daughter dreams about, whatever you want, you name it, it is done. Just be my champion, Cody. be my brother, be the brother I never had, the brother I've always wanted, and make me embrace you as your champion, which led me to believe this. Should Cody do so? We see Roman have the phrase acknowledge me. Imagine if we see black haired Cody start telling folks, embrace me.
Mm.
It's got a ring to it already.
It kinda do.
You
It
can't be
kinda
mad at it,
does.
AJ. Don't.
Nah, I'm not mad at it at all.
But again, as we wrap up this episode of SmackDown, we asked folks a question: will Cody make The Rock embrace him? Will Cody sell his soul to the devil? Will Cody do The Rock's bidding? Will Anakin Skywalker become Darth Vader? These are the
Mm.
questions.
I think I'm gonna stand on what I said the other day. I personally feel like Cody's gonna deny, and Rock is gonna end up whipping him out, and then costing him at Mania. And I don't
I'll
think
go a little
we don't
deeper
we,
than
we don't get the person that's gonna take the favor tomorrow.
what if. Now, this has been teased as of late, especially on the Elimination Chamber kickoff show. If you guys had a chance to watch it earlier today on YouTube, say Cody Rhodes tells The Rock no. The Rock's now. Stay with me now. I'm I'm trying to foreshadow something in hopes that it manifests into something else.
Mhm.
Say Cody Rhodes tells The Rock no. Okay. The Rock then begins to beat the piss out of Cody Rhodes. In comes CM Punk to make the save, or so we think. Punk
Mm.
snatches the weight belt off of The Rock and starts whipping Cody his own self, and then we get The Rock and Punk as one unit. And like I said before, with The Rock and his one favor, that favor could mean the wise man goes wherever I go.
Ooh wee.
Regardless of whatever happens, that favor could very well be that whatever Punk decides to do for his next move on the road to WrestleMania, the wise man is no longer in the services of Roman Reigns.
Mm.
We've seen Paul do this in the past before with the likes of Brock Lesnar, Big Show, so on and so forth. This would be nothing new. We've seen this before. We haven't seen it in a while, but could you imagine what happens if the Second City Saint betrays everything that he stood by and signs a deal and sells his soul to the devil? Could you imagine if John Cena does the same thing? Say John Cena wins the Rumble and he comes out and then starts beating on Cody, and then he reiterates that what I'm doing is best for business.
Mm. There's a lot going on. Oh damn, we less than 24 hours away.
By this time tomorrow, we will be talking about what the fuck did we just watch?
We
Shit, by
are
this time tomorrow, my voice may be gone, but I'll still be on the show with you tomorrow when we're doing the reaction show.
man. I'm not gonna lie. I can't think of anything else that's gonna take the spotlight tomorrow more than that Rock and Cody shit.
Because that segment is going to be the catalyst for the inevitable main event.
Yep.
That will be the definitive moment as to what we should expect out of the closing moments of not only night 2 but potentially night 1 as well.
Mm.
And the reason why I say
I'm
night one
glad.
as well is,
Hmm.
what if Jey Uso joins The Rock and whoops on Cody?
I'm kind of glad that you mentioned that night one, night two stuff because it kind of reminded me about verbiage that was said from CM Punk tonight when he seen Cody. He's like, "I'm gonna win the chamber and I'm gonna see you at the main events." Jay Uso won this. There can only be two main events now. Night one, night two. Jay Uso won the Royal Rumble main event match. You done
And
told me
and,
the
and, and,
women's Royal
and
Rumble should have
call
counted for
me
one.
crazy because it's 2 nights. I personally do not consider the night one closing match to be the main event.
Mm.
Call me crazy. That's just how I personally feel about it. Ever since I went to 2 nights. But could you imagine if Jey Uso joins The Rock in this?
That'll be another crazy moment
That would be up there with Stone Cold Steve Austin joining Vince McMahon in the corporation. That'd be the move we don't see coming.
because he just got beloved by the fans so much. Not just, but like this is the peak of it, and pull that away would be crazy.
And a wise man, no pun intended, once said, "The shot that takes you out is the one you don't see coming."
Mm.
Could you imagine? Again, there's already been speculations that tomorrow Gunther's going to see crash out Jey Uso. That's a Jey Uso we haven't seen in some time. If Jay's really in that on that timing again, could you fucking imagine? That would be wild.
Bro,
I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it.
yeah, that shit is. Mm.
Talk about taking the air out of the room. Jay joining The Rock and turning on Cody might start a fucking riot.
Bro, it's like, oh, it's
Oh,
killing me.
I got you again. I got you now.
Yeah, bro, my mind is racing so much. Like now, I can't really wait for the PLE tomorrow. Oh wait,
There's a lot that could happen. Will it happen? Who knows? But again, when we do stuff like this, where we get to speculate what if scenarios, it's a beautiful, euphoric sensation to you just sit back and just fantasy book and just imagine just what if.
oh man, and we pretty much touched on everything right there. Anything else you wanna hit on before we get up out of here?
Chilling at the head of the table where the bosses sit, stunning everything in sight. Whether it's in the
Talk
bloodline,
reacting to the show. If you guys want to catch snapshots of my face for radio, but also I will leave you on this note. What if?
Oh yeah. And look at that second QR code, the orange one. That orange hat I was wearing, that's the official merch. Off the hip right there. It's out. The one on the right, the red QR code, that's for the song. The orange QR code, that's for the merch. Check it
You
out.
guys know the deal. We grow in the village. Jump on board before we break the internet, because once we take over, we ain't looking back.
Man. Once again, shout out to Wrestlish _ war right there. Politely allowing us to use this photo for tonight's episode. Contributing to Off the Hip. I'm welcome your thoughts. Chat, tomorrow's gonna be lit.
I love you.
Oh yeah.